Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Jamaica faces illegal action over its acquisition of Venezuela's shares in local oil refinery Petrojam. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline from Monday, June 17th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. The Jamaica government has confirmed it's facing a lawsuit filed by the board of Venezuela's oil and gas company, PDVSA. It follows the decision of the Andrew Holness-led government earlier this year to forcibly take over PDVSA's 49% stake in the local oil refinery, Petrojam. Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith told the Jamaica Gleaner newspaper that the government now owns all of Petrojam shares. Legislation was passed earlier this year to allow the government to take back the Petrojam stake that PDVSA acquired in 2006. As Minister Johnson-Smith says, the Accountant General of Jamaica now holds those shares. She says the lawsuit comes as no surprise, though. According to her, government anticipated there would be a claim or claims for compensation. The Jamaica Gleaner newspaper is reporting that prominent local attorney Michael Hilton QC is representing PDVSA in the lawsuit. The ad hoc board of PDVSA, which was appointed by opposition leader in Venezuela, Juan Guaido, who declared himself interim president in January, had reportedly asked the Jamaica government not to seize its Petrojam shares. OECS leaders opened their annual summit in Antigua on Monday with calls for greater unity and praise for St. Vincent and the Grenadines on its recent election to a non-permanent position at the United Nations Security Council. Outgoing chairman of the OECS, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, said in a statement read by Finance Minister Camilo Gonsalves that the 67th meeting of the OECS Authority is taking place at a time of both peril and possibility for the regional integration movement. Incoming OECS Chairman, Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown, told the gathering that St. Vincent's election to the UN Security Council should serve as a reminder of what the grouping can achieve when member states unite.
We falter not when we act in unity, but when others cajole us into disunity. None should be allowed to entice us from our joint path or to induce us from our collective ambition. If the last 38 years of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States has taught us one powerful lesson, or a compelling lesson, it is that our salvation lies in our solidarity. It is a lesson we should not forget, a lesson we should not discount. We have survived these last 3.5 decades of exogenous shocks, of major and devastating natural disasters, of imported economic recession, because solidarity made us strong.
On the issue of intra-regional travel, Prime Minister Brown reminded the leaders of the importance of LIAT to integration. He said it's time OECS member states take ownership of LIAT and build it as a pillar of the region's single space.
Now, it is time that we acknowledge LIAT for what it is. And in essence, LIAT is an essential service to the OECS and a regional good of irreplaceable significance. My dear brother Ralph have said from time to time, if you collapse LIAT, you'll have to reinvent it. It is irreplaceable. So no matter what you call it, if you call it Barbados Airways, it doesn't matter. We have to have regional transportation, regional connectivity. So LIAT is quintessential. Antigua and Barbuda is determined to keep Liat in the Caribbean skies where it belongs and in which it has earned its place.
In other news, ahead of the Caribbean Court of Justice, a CCJ expected ruling tomorrow on whether a no-confidence motion passed against the Ghana government was invalid, opposition leader Bart Jagdeo is putting supporters on notice that they will be asked to take to the streets to pressure the administration to call early elections. He says the opposition People's Progressive Party, PPP, will be doing everything in its power to force the government to make sure Guyanese vote earlier than the 2020 constitutionally due date.
Go back on the streets. We'll have to get the international community to put pressure on them. We'll have to do every single thing to ensure that they hold early elections, that they don't use GCOM as an excuse because they're scared of elections. So they've been hearing too what we've been hearing, that people are fed up with them. So on Tuesday, on Wednesday, get your boots like Harry Gill, a colorful boots like Harry Gill, and get ready to walk the streets. We're going to put the pressure on them, the squeeze on them.
The court must decide whether 33 votes were enough to pass the no-confidence motion on December 21st, or whether an extra vote was required for a majority in the 65-seat House. If the CCJ ruling does not go in the favor of the PPP, Jagdeo said it simply means that elections will be delayed by a few months.
If it goes against us, which will be perverse, it's not a problem too, because as a seasoned political party, we have to be ready for everything. It just means the elections will be delayed a few months more. So I know people say, God, another year of these people, and that's the mood across Guyana. But we will still be campaigning, we'll still be working, and one thing has to be inevitable. Every single Guyanese must play a role in getting rid of these people.
Jagdeo urged supporters not to lose hope.
The oldest political party, Chedi Jagan's party, we can't just give up hope if the decision goes against us. We expect it to go in our favor. All the arguments are solid in our favor. We expect that. But anything could happen in this life, and therefore we'll just be as strong and just as ready, whatever the outcome is on Tuesday.
Well, the government last week said it intends to respect and accept whatever ruling comes down from the CCJ, which is the country's final appeal court. Well, whenever elections are called, the ruling coalition will have a new prime ministerial candidate. Delegates of the Alliance for Change, AFC, the smaller party in the coalition with a Partnership for National Unity, APNU, this past weekend endorsed Kemraj Ramjatan as the new candidate. He was endorsed through a motion that was presented at the party's biennial congress, which came just hours after he was elected unchallenged as AFC leader. Current Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu left the Congress moments before a vote on the endorsement motion. He'd said that while he was still interested in being the prime ministerial candidate for the coalition, he didn't expect to stay in one place forever. But Nagamutu also suggested that it was not the right time to choose a prime ministerial candidate.
On Tuesday, the Caribbean Court of Justice is going to deliver its decision. I don't know if they will be able to deliver all of the decision, and this is happening on the eve, virtually, of those decisions. So for me, you have to be careful of the optics, that you don't send a message that you're already in election mode, and you are accepting the fact that the motion might have been carried, and so you're already selecting candidates for the election. My point is, and purely from a public relations point of view, I'm dealing with this in terms of the timing of it, not the content, because I believe at some point in time, Nagamutu will have to make way for someone. And for me, that's for me is the perfect transition. I'm not here as a dinosaur to stay, or an old boat dropping my anchor and remain there forever. That has not been my thought. I'm now in a position where I have to look literally at what do I do to build the new generation, the new cadre of leaders?
Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, Antigua and Barbuda confirmed as the location for UWI's 4th landed campus. Stay with us.
Welcome to this year's 50th Caribbean Broadcast Union Assembly on the island of San Andres. San Andres is a small archipelago located in between Jamaica and Panama in the Western Caribbean Sea. A lush, exotic island rich in culture, history, gastronomy, and breathtaking scenic views. Known for its beaches and 7-colored crystalline waters, the island of San Andres will be proudly hosting this year's event. CBU members will enjoy top-of-the-line accommodations for an unforgettable experience in San Andres, connecting Caribbean nations through this year's 50th edition of the CBU Assembly.
You're watching Caribbean Vibrations TV, and we're coming to you from the beautiful Mahi Island in the Seychelles with the gentleman affectionately known as Creole King of the Islands, Mr. Patrick Victor. How are you doing today, sir?
Feeling great, especially with this thing in my hand.
Oh, well, I mean, ironically, that is your claim to fame. For the people who do not know, back a little time ago, you had a song called Tabu Musha, which spoke about two different things in those two different words.
Welcome back. The University of the West Indies has approved Antigua as the location of its 4th landed campus. Prime Minister Gaston Brown said on his privately owned radio station that he was in discussion with the UWI Vice Chancellor, Sir Hilary Beckles, on the issue last Friday, and he expects to receive official communication from the university by Tuesday. Brown explained that the 3 campus countries, Barbados, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago, which had concerns about the landed campus, are now satisfied. Brown said the 5 Islands campus in Antigua should be opened in September with at least 1,000 students. Visa requirements for Venezuelans traveling to Trinidad and Tobago kicked in on Monday. Venezuelans wanting to enter the Twin Island Republic now have to get visas issued by the embassy in their country's capital. This follows a 2-week amnesty which ended last Friday that was offered to Venezuelans in Trinidad and Tobago either legally or illegally. During that period, they were given the opportunity to register, with successful applicants getting a year to live and work in Trinidad and Tobago. With that now over, National Security Minister Stuart Young says everything is in place for the new visa system to take effect. TV6's Joel Brown reports.
Minister Young said he has been discussing the logistics with the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. He also said the Immigration Division also has the main role to play in implementation and that the government will provide information as appropriate. At the moment, Trinidad and Tobago does not have an ambassador in Caracas. Minister Young told TV6 News this is not necessary for the embassy to function. He pointed out that, quite interestingly, under the UNC and the leadership of Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar as Prime Minister, the U.S. Embassy in Port of Spain was without a U.S. ambassador for a long time, and that no one asked whether the U.S. Embassy in Port of Spain was fully functional. Minister Young further said Trinidad and Tobago's embassy in Caracas will be adequately staffed. TV6 News also spoke with a former Foreign Affairs Minister during the People's Partnership Administration, Dr. Suraj Ratan Rambachan, about implementing the new visa regime without an ambassador in Caracas.
I think that once you have consular services operating out of Caracas, you can institute your visa requirements. There's no bar to that. It's a very simple procedure. You have to inform the other country, of course, that you instituting visa requirements to come into Trinidad.
Dr. Rambachan, however, told the opposition line that the government did not properly manage the migration of Venezuelans before the registration exercise took place in Trinidad and Tobago.
I think that the Minister of National Security is making up some lost ground for the government. I think that they floundered very badly in terms of the number of illegal immigrants who are allowed to come into the country through illegal ports.
Dr. Rambachan said he does not think the government has a full appreciation of how many Venezuelans made their way to Trinidad and Tobago.
We are already seeing where they found a couple people, I think it's about 12 women in some warehouse somewhere who are illegal immigrants and who have not registered. So it is possible that there are many persons like that still existing in Trinidad. I want to agree with the political leader of the United National Congress when she said that you have to close the borders.
Minister Young previously said greater effort is being placed on strengthening border controls.
An appeal for more blood donors in the Caribbean and the Bahamas lauded for its efforts to contain the spread of HIV. Marie-Claire Williams has the details in this week's Newsline Health.
There has been a call for more blood donors in the region. It followed the observance of World Blood Donor Day on June 14. In Belize, the National Blood Bank says it would like to increase its current stock, and it would also like the public to donate approximately 4 times a year.
Blood is something that we cannot replicate. It's always in demand. It is something that we need. And in light of all that's happening, the supply which we have is constantly in need of replenishment. So that is to say we are always in need of donations. Now, what would be ideal? We would like to, through education campaigns, enlighten the public and let them be aware of the need for donation.
The Bahamas has come in for high praise for its continued efforts in controlling the spread of the HIV virus. PAHO Country Representative Dr. Esther de Gorville says Nassau has made great progress in keeping the rates of mother-to-child transmission at 0. However, she is concerned that there has been an increase in infection rates among young men.
You've made significant progress, and there are very few cases that are reported. In fact, 0 cases, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 2 or 3 years of mother-to-child transmission of HIV. You've also been very progressive in ensuring that all patients are put on treatment. You're one of the few countries in the region that is doing that, and you've made good progress. There is concern, however, that there seems to be an upsurge of cases in young men, and there's need for continuous reinforcement of the prevention messages, reduction of sexual partners, use of condoms.
Marie-Claire Williams, Newsline Health.
Ahead in Newsline Sport, West Indies lose their latest World Cup match despite giving Bangladesh their highest ever run chase. Stay with us.
Tell us, there's so many different types of law. What made you specialize in getting people who have disabilities their claims approved?
My father owned an insurance brokerage business in Maryland, and after he came back from World War II and started this business, he purchased a disability insurance policy thinking he'd never need to have that policy. Well, unfortunately, he became disabled, and I saw him struggle with that difficult decision to stop working and apply for disability.
Now, your company is in the spirits business. Tell us what Blue Tango is all about.
Yeah, we are a specialty alcohol beverage manufacturer and importer. We have a small range of products, but the really exciting product in our lineup is this one right here. It's called French pastry.
Okay.
It's our own product. We developed the formulation on it. We've got the trademarked. It competes in the class of liqueurs.
We had a little rain delay, huh?
Yeah. We're going to go to the Kinetic River. Jeff, Corey, Jim, Marco. We're going to see what they think, what they do. Let's catch some fish.
This hat has yet to fail me with catching a decent fish. Stick with what works. I usually have a Madfish t-shirt on. I'm waiting for the Madfish underwear to come out. That's lights out. That's like a world record. Smallmouth, world record, largemouth, all in one day.
Madfish underwear? What the are you talking about?
West Indies World Cup hopes lay in ruins on Monday after Bangladesh completed their highest ever successful runs chase to thrash them by 7 wickets. Batting first, the Windies ended on 321 for 7 of their 50 overs at Somerset County Ground, with Shea Hope falling in the 47th over for 96, which he made from 120 deliveries, and opener Evan Lewis gathering a handsome 70 off 67 balls. Shimron Hetmeyer hit the joint fastest half-century of the tournament with exactly 50 off 26 balls, while captain Jason Holder chipped in with 33 off 15 balls.
Nicked in, I think it's carried. I think it has carried. So Safudin has struck, Gale gone early.
That's a gap, and that's magnificent. Cuts loose, and it'll go all the way just.
And the most welcome 50 for the left-handed West Indian opener Evan Lewis. Unfortunate. Shabir takes an easy catch. Another 50 for Shea Hope. Strong enough. Very strong.
I don't know, no, end of Quran. Joy for Bangladesh.
Can't bowl there. No protection. That is just a poor delivery. Got everything it deserved. That has gone so high and so far. It's downtown. He gets one, he gets 50 off just 25. Up high, very high. Who wants it? Someone's got to grab it. Got to. Got it. Fantastic bit of work. This time they've got him. Back to back. The Fizz has got the Fizz.
That's gone for 6. That is a huge one from Jason Holder. He wants plenty here from the West Indies at the back end. It's a chance, and it should be an easy chance, and it's a chance taken by Mamadullah. Taken. Mustafizour strikes. Now on the ground for 6. Now it's most welcome for Bravo, for West Indies and their supporters. Well bowled. Very well bowled by Saifuddin.
Well, tasked with reaching a challenging 322, the Tigers made light of the target, with Shakib Al Hassan unfurling a superb unbeaten 124 and Lytton Das ending 94 not out. The pair staged a record unbroken 4th wicket stand of 189 as Bangladesh won easily with 51 balls remaining and moved up the standings to 5th.
Up, over, and 6. Short boundary exposed. Should be out. Is out. Gale takes a safe catch. Glorious, glorious.
does it? That takes him to 6,000 runs in one-day international cricket. Oh, brilliant! That's unbelievably good.
Okay, roll it through. Okay, so freeze it there. Thank you. I'm ready to make my decision to the screen.
And the feeling is right. Slip in for Mushfiqur. It's hit something, it's hit bat. Well, they've just moved the guy square. So Littendust gets full marks there. Six! An uppercut to remember. Timed it beautifully. One-day international century number 9 for the world's best all-rounder, Shakib Al Hasan. We have it now. Well, Littendust's third 50 in one-day internationals, and a vitally important one for his side today. Swung away beautifully. Short ball, and Littendust so quickly onto that, all the way. Oh, down the ground. Back-to-back sixes. Quality from Littendust. Oh, 2 in a row as well in the ground. That's better. That was cleaner.
After the match, the Windies captain expressed his disappointment, saying the Caribbean side needed a much better all-round performance.
You know, I thought we were probably 40, 50 runs short, you know, on the ground like this and the wicket like this. I thought the wicket played really well throughout the entire day, and we just didn't get enough runs. You know, having said that, you know, still think we could have been a little bit more disciplined with the ball, and we also let ourselves down in the field as well. And we knew it would have been a little challenging probably in the first 10 overs after losing the toss and being asked to bat. You know, but having said that, I thought we got through the first 10 overs reasonably well. It's just a situation where we just never got the momentum going as we probably should in the middle overs, and then, you know, we had too much to do in the back end. And you know, as I said before, you know, if you score 320 here now, you just got to fight really hard in the field to try and defend it. You know, we didn't get wickets, and then we also...
Well, that's the sport. We'll be right back.
By the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Welcome to this year's 50th Caribbean Broadcast Union Assembly on the island of San Andres. San Andres is a small archipelago located in between Jamaica and Panama in the Western Caribbean Sea. A lush, exotic island rich in culture, history, gastronomy, and breathtaking scenic views. Known for its beaches and 7-colored crystalline waters, the island of San Andres will be proudly hosting this year's event. CBU members will enjoy top-of-the-line accommodations for an unforgettable experience in San Andres, connecting Caribbean nations through this year's 50th edition of the CBU Assembly.
The 103rd Indianapolis 500. There is no bigger day in motorsports for Honda Racing and everyone at HPD. Winning this race makes the entire year. This year, 18 Honda drivers in the field of 33, gunning for honors in the 500. The biggest day of the year in the world of Honda racing, the 103rd Indianapolis 500.
And that's Caribbean Newsline from all of us here. Thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.